I'm Camila Reed, 29 years old. 3 days after my graduate school ceremony, my mother texted me for $2,100 to pay for my younger sister's Sweet 16. She had not congratulated me. She had not asked how graduation went. She had not even noticed that no one from my family had shown up. But that one message became the beginning of the end. Because when I refused to pay, my mother did something I never imagined a parent could do. She opened credit cards in my name, used my social security number, and charged my sister's entire birthday party to accounts I never authorized. And 6 months later, my mother was the one standing in front of everyone, crying, while a bank investigator read my name out loud. Before I tell you what happened that night, let me take you back to the day I finally understood that being invisible in your own family is not an accident. Sometimes, it is a system. Before we get into this, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story truly resonates with you. And drop your location and local time in the comments. I want to know where you are right now. My graduation was on a Saturday morning in May. The stadium was bright, hot, and crowded. Families were waving flowers and phones. Parents were crying before their children even crossed the stage. Every few seconds, someone shouted a name from the stands, and the whole place burst into applause. When they called, Camila Elaine Reed, Master of Data Analytics, I stood up, smiled, and walked across the stage. For 1 second, I looked toward the reserved family section. Empty, not delayed, not confused, empty. There were 4 metal seats with my family's name on the tickets I had mailed 3 weeks earlier. My mother, Linda Reed, my father, Thomas Reed, my sister, Avery Reed, even my grandmother's old seat, which I had kept open because some griefs become tradition. No one came. The photographer told me to smile, so I did. I held my diploma so tightly my fingers hurt. Around me, people were laughing, hugging, taking pictures with parents who had driven 5 hours, flown across states, and brought balloons. I stood beside a trash can and pretended to check my phone. My classmate Ruby found me near the courtyard fountain. She hugged me so hard my cap almost fell off. "You did it!" she screamed. "Where's your family?" I said. "They're running late." That lie came out so easily it scared me, because I had been telling that version of the truth my whole life. When I was 9, my father missed my school science fair because Avery had a dance rehearsal. I had spent 3 weeks building a model of the solar system, from foam balls and fishing wire. I won 2nd place. I came home holding a blue ribbon and found both my parents filming Avery doing a 30-second tap routine in the living room. My father glanced at my ribbon and said, "That's nice, Cam." That was all. When I was 13, I got straight A's for the first time. My mother stuck the report card on the fridge for 1 day. The next morning, it was gone, replaced by Avery's drawing of a horse with glitter glued to the mane. When I was 16, I started working at a coffee shop before school. My mother said it would teach responsibility, but the money never stayed mine for long. "Sweetheart, Avery needs recital shoes. Camila, your sister's school trip is due tomorrow. Family helps family." By the time I was 22, I had paid for Avery's piano lessons, 3 school trips, 2 birthday dresses, and half of a summer cheer camp she quit after 4 days. My family had a public image. Respectable, middle class, church on Sundays, Christmas cards and matching sweaters. My father worked in insurance. My mother volunteered at every school event as long as Avery was involved. People thought we were close. They did not see me eating instant noodles in my room after sending my paycheck home. They did not hear my mother say, "You're so independent, Camila. That's why we don't worry about you." That sentence sounds like praise until you realize it means, you are easier to neglect. My grandmother saw it. Her name was Elaine. She lived 15 minutes away in a small yellow house with rose bushes and a porch swing that creaked like it had secrets. She never had much money, but she had sharp eyes. When I was 17, I cried in her kitchen because my parents forgot my birthday dinner. They had taken Avery to a dress fitting instead. Grandma Elaine poured me tea and said, "There's a difference between being forgotten and never being seen in the first place." I did not understand it then. I do now. She died during my first year of graduate school. I sat in the 2nd row at her funeral while my father gave a speech about how much she valued family. I remember gripping the funeral program until the paper bent in my hands. Because Grandma Elaine was the only family member who had ever made me feel real. After graduation, I drove home alone in my old Honda Civic. It had 168,000 miles, a broken cup holder, and a passenger seat full of flowers Ruby's parents insisted on giving me. The apartment was quiet when I walked in. My cap and gown went on a chair. My diploma stayed in the envelope. I told myself not to cry. I failed. For 3 days, nobody from my family called. Then my phone buzzed. Mom, need $2,100 for Avery's Sweet 16. Venue balance due Friday. No congratulations. No, how was graduation? Not even a fake apology. Just a number. I stared at that message until the screen went dark. Something inside me went quiet. Not broken. Quiet. I opened my banking app. I had $3,084 in savings. That was rent, groceries, car insurance, emergency money, and the last thin wall between me and panic. Then I opened the payment app my mother always used. I sent $1. In the note, I wrote, "Congrats." 30 seconds later, my phone rang. Mom. I did not answer. She called 4 more times. Then my father called. Then Avery sent a text. Avery, seriously? $1? You're embarrassing. I stared at her message and almost laughed. I had been embarrassed at my graduation, with 4 empty chairs waiting for people who never came. But $1 was embarrassing. That night, I changed the locks. My mother had a spare key for emergencies. But in my family, emergencies usually meant Avery needed something, and I was expected to provide it. The locksmith arrived at 8:40 p.m. He was an older man named Luis, with gray hair and a toolbox full of small metal pieces. He worked quietly. The apartment smelled like oil and dust while he replaced the lock. When he finished, the new deadbolt clicked into place. Solid, final. For the first time in years, my apartment felt like mine. The peace lasted 16 hours. The next afternoon, there was a knock at my door. Firm, official. I looked through the peephole and saw 2 police officers. My stomach dropped. I opened the door halfway. "Camila Reed?" one of them asked. "Yes. We received a welfare check request from your mother. She said you've been acting unstable, changing locks, ignoring family, and she was concerned you might harm yourself." For a second, I could not speak. Then I laughed once, not because it was funny, because it was so cruel that my brain did not know what else to do. I let them inside. My apartment was clean. Laptop open on the table. Graduation program on the counter. Coffee mug in the sink. Nothing dramatic. Nothing dangerous. One officer asked a few questions. Had I been sleeping, eating? Did I feel unsafe? Did I have thoughts of hurting myself? I answered calmly. "I'm not unstable," I said. "I'm setting boundaries." The younger officer looked around, then looked at the graduation envelope on the chair. "Congratulations," he said quietly. That almost made me cry. When they left, the older officer paused at the door. "Sometimes," he said, "when people lose control over someone, they call it concern." After they were gone, I locked the new deadbolt and stood there shaking. My mother had not called the police because she was worried. She called them because I had said no. That night, I started a folder on my laptop. I named it Proof. Screenshots, call logs, payment records, the welfare check report, every message from my mother, father, and Avery. I did not know yet how much I would need it. The next morning, I checked my credit score. I still do not know why I did it. Maybe instinct, maybe fear, maybe some part of me already understood that my mother would not stop at humiliation. There were 2 new inquiries. Capital One, Discover. Both opened within the last 30 days. My hands went cold. I clicked deeper into the report and saw 2 accounts I had never opened. Both used my social security number. Both used my parents' address in Littleton. Both had balances, $4,812, $3,300. I opened the transaction details and saw the names. Cherry Creek Events, Denver DJ Agency, Glam Studio, Avery's Sweet 16. I sat so still I could hear the refrigerator humming. Then I called Capital One. The woman on the fraud line was professional, but her voice changed after she pulled up the file. "Miss Reed," she said carefully. "This application was completed in person at a partner branch. The primary applicant listed is Linda M. Reed." "My mother," I said. There was a pause. I'm going to transfer this to our identity theft department. By noon, I had spoken to both banks, frozen my credit, filed an FTC identity theft report, and printed every document. By 2:15 p.m., I was sitting on the floor beside my coffee table, with papers spread around me, like evidence from someone else's life. At 3:07 p.m., I called my mother. Colorado is a one-party consent state. That means I could legally record a call I was part of. So I did. She answered on the fourth ring. "Well," she said, "are you done being dramatic?" I pressed record. "Mom, did you open credit cards in my name?" Silence. Then she sighed, like I had asked something annoying. "I was helping you build credit. You used my social security number. Don't twist this. You charged Avery's party to accounts under my name. It's family money, Camila." "No," I said. "It's fraud." Her tone changed instantly. "You wouldn't dare. I already reported it." She inhaled sharply. "You selfish little girl." I looked at my diploma leaning against the wall. Master of Data Analytics. 2 jobs. 4 years of loans. No family in the crowd. "I'm not a little girl," I said. "And I'm not your bank account anymore." Then I hung up. For 2 days, the messages came like rain. "Dad, your mother made a mistake. Don't ruin her life." "Mom, after everything we did for you?" "Avery, you're seriously trying to cancel my party?" "Dad, we can handle this privately." "Mom, family does not report family. I saved everything." On Friday, I agreed to meet them at a diner in Highlands Ranch. Neutral ground, public place, cameras. I arrived 15 minutes early with a folder, a voice recorder, and a calmness I had never felt before. My mother came in wearing sunglasses, even though it was cloudy. My father followed behind her, jaw tight. Avery walked in last, scrolling on her phone, wearing a silver jacket I later learned had been charged to one of the stolen cards. They sat across from me. Mom spoke first. "You've made your point." I opened the folder. "No, I'm going to make it now." I placed the documents on the table one by one. The credit report, the bank fraud case number, the FTC report, screenshots of my mother's demand for $2,100, the welfare check report. My father's face changed first. He had always been good at pretending not to know things. But paper has a way of making lies uncomfortable. Mom barely looked. "This is ridiculous," she said. "Parents use their children's information all the time." "No," I said. "Criminals do." Avery rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, Camila. It was one party." I turned to her. "It was $8,112 in my name." She looked at my mother. "Mom said you agreed." That sentence sat on the table like a loaded gun. I looked at my mother. "You told her I agreed?" Mom's lips pressed together. "I told her you would understand." There it was. The family translation system. No meant yes. Boundaries meant betrayal. Theft meant help. My father leaned forward. "Camila, listen. Your sister only turned 16 once. Your mother panicked. We'll pay it back. The banks will decide that," I said. Mom's eyes snapped up. "You really filed?" "Yes." "You ungrateful brat." The waitress stopped near our table, heard the tone, and quietly walked away. My mother lowered her voice. "You think you're better than us because you got some degree?" I smiled then, not happily, sadly. "No. I thought if I got enough degrees, worked enough hours, sent enough money, maybe you would finally see me." Nobody spoke. Then I said the words I should have said years earlier. "But I'm done paying to be invisible." I stood, left $5 for the coffee I never drank, and walked out. The party was the next night. Avery's Sweet 16 at Cherry Creek Events. Purple lights, balloon arch, 3-tier cake, a DJ, photo booth, makeup artist, the whole thing. I was not invited. I did not need to be. At 8:38 p.m., my phone rang from an unknown number. "Miss Reed, this is Lauren Stein from Capital One's fraud investigation team. We wanted to notify you that our field investigator and local law enforcement will be visiting Cherry Creek Events tonight to verify charges connected to your identity theft claim. You are not required to attend." My throat tightened. "At the party?" "Yes, ma'am." I looked out my apartment window. Denver was glowing under a dark blue sky. "Okay," I said. At 9:12 p.m., Avery texted. "Avery, what did you do?" Then another. "Avery, Police are here. Then another. They're asking for Mom. I put the phone face down. I did not smile. I did not celebrate, but I breathed. Later, Ruby sent me a video someone had already posted online. The ballroom looked expensive. Purple lights moved across white tablecloths. A banner behind the cake read, Avery, born to shine. Then the music stopped. 2 officers stood near the entrance with a woman in a navy blazer holding a folder. My mother was near the cake table. My father looked like he wanted the floor to open. The investigator's voice was calm but clear. We are here regarding a fraud investigation involving charges made under the name Camila Reed. The room changed. You could feel it through the screen. Guests stopped talking. Phones lifted. Avery stood in the middle of the dance floor, with her hands at her sides, her face pale under the makeup. My mother said, "There must be a mistake." The investigator looked at her paperwork. "Linda Reed?" My mother did not answer. One of the officers said, "Ma'am, we need to ask you a few questions about accounts opened using your daughter's identity." Someone whispered, "Her daughter?" Another voice said, "At her other daughter's birthday?" Avery started crying. Not because of me. Because finally, for one night, the truth had stolen her spotlight. The party did not end with an arrest. Real life is not always that dramatic, but sometimes documentation is louder than handcuffs. The DJ packed up early. The cake was never cut. By morning, 3 different clips were online. By Monday, my mother's church group knew. By Wednesday, my father's office knew. By Friday, the banks had confirmed what my mother had done. Both accounts were closed as fraudulent. Charges were transferred into an investigation against her. She agreed to a repayment plan to avoid immediate legal escalation. $8,112 plus fees. My credit was restored. My name was cleared. But my family was not done. My father called 23 times in one day. My mother sent a message that said, "I hope you're happy destroying us." Avery posted a story saying, "Some people hate seeing others celebrated." I screenshotted that too. Then I blocked them. Not because I was angry, because I was tired. There is a kind of exhaustion that comes from being disappointed too many times by the same people. One day, your heart stops breaking loudly. It just closes the door. For 6 months, I heard things through other people. My mother stopped volunteering at church. My father took a leave from work after questions started spreading. Avery deleted her party photos, then deleted her account for a while. A cousin messaged me once, "You could have handled it privately." I replied with one sentence, "So could she." Then I blocked him too. During those 6 months, my life got quiet in the best way. I got a job at Nova Data Labs as a junior analytics consultant. Starting salary, $86,000. More money than I had ever made in my life. My first day, I wore a navy blazer I bought on sale and shoes that hurt by noon. My manager, Priya, gave me a welcome mug and said, "We're lucky to have you." I almost cried in the restroom. Not because of the mug, because some people can say one kind sentence and accidentally touch a wound they do not know exists. I moved to a better apartment in September. Nothing fancy. 1 bedroom, big windows, a balcony with enough space for 2 chairs and a basil plant that died within 3 weeks. On the wall above my desk, I framed 3 things: my diploma, the locksmith receipt, the final fraud resolution letter, proof of effort, proof of protection, proof of freedom. Then, in November, a letter arrived. No return address, but I knew my mother's handwriting. For 3 days, it sat unopened on my kitchen counter. On the 4th day, I opened it. It was not an apology. Not really. She wrote that she had been stressed, that Avery's party had gotten out of control, that she never meant to hurt me, that mothers make mistakes, that I should remember all the good times. I read it twice, searching for the sentence I needed. "I am sorry I stole from you." It was not there, so I folded the letter, placed it back in the envelope, and put it in my proof folder. Sorry is a word. It is a starting place, not a finish line. My father never wrote. Avery sent one message from a new number. "Avery, I didn't know Mom used your info. I thought you said yes." For a long time I stared at that message. Then I replied, "Camila, now you know." She did not answer. Maybe someday we will talk. Maybe we will not. But here is what I know now. Family is not supposed to require evidence before they believe you. Love is not supposed to feel like a bill. And boundaries are not revenge. They are protection. I did not destroy my family. I stopped letting them destroy me quietly. A year after graduation, Nova Data Labs promoted me. I became a senior consultant managing accounts bigger than anything my father had ever handled. On the anniversary of the day I changed the locks, Ruby came over with takeout and a tiny cake from a bakery downtown. On top, in blue icing, she had written, "Congrats on your piece." We ate it on my balcony with plastic forks, while traffic moved below us and the evening air smelled like rain. I thought about my graduation day then, the empty seats, the fake smile, the way I had stood alone while everyone else was surrounded. And for the first time, the memory did not crush me, because I realized something. Some people will not show up no matter what you do, but that does not mean you are unworthy of being celebrated. It means you were saving seats for the wrong people. If you are watching this and you have been the invisible child, the responsible one, the one they only call when they need money, help, silence, or forgiveness, listen to me. You are allowed to stop paying for love. You are allowed to change the locks. You are allowed to protect the life you built with your own hands. I did not get revenge. I became someone who did not need it. My mother wanted $2,100 for a party. Instead, she gave me something far more valuable. She gave me the final proof that I was done, and that is something no one can ever take away. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment, tell me your story, or just write, "I'm here," because sometimes knowing we are not alone is the first lock we ever change.